Well, 2025 was a bit of a bumpy ride for the German car industry. Europe's biggest economy was hit hard by US tariffs, especially in the auto sector. Now, a new study says German car exports to America fell almost 14% in the first 3 quarters of this year. And now that is despite a deal in August between Washington and Brussels, which reduced the baseline rate on European cars. So the tariff dropped from around 27.5% to 15% from August and September. Germany's auto sector may have been the hardest hit at 14%, but other industries declined as well. Manufactured exports to the US dropped by 9.5% between January and September, and exports from the chemical industry fell by the same amount. I have been speaking to motor analyst Paul Nieuwenhuis. I started by asking him if that easing of tariffs, which started from August and September, had made any real difference to German automakers.
What happened is that a lot of people bought their German cars at the beginning of the year to preempt the tariffs. So a lot of private buyers put in their orders then, but a lot of the dealers also put in their orders then. At the same time, the German manufacturers sort of transferred a lot of production to their US plants. So that meant that by the time the tariff was lower, they were already largely selling US-made vehicles. I mean, the biggest selling BMW in the US, for example, is the X5, which is made in South Carolina. And on the whole, they make cars in the US that sell well in the US. Volkswagen is in a slightly awkward position because their most popular models in the US are made in Puebla, Mexico, so they're also subject to tariffs, so they're struggling a bit more. But Mercedes and BMW in particular have been very good at sort of sourcing cars from the US. They're still affected by tariffs on materials, but then the tariffs on steel and aluminium also affect their US competitors, so that in itself has not been a problem. If we look at, I think by August, a lot of people who wanted to buy one of the cars this year had probably already put in their orders before the initial tariffs kicked in. So I couldn't see a clear impact in the post-August sales, but that might become clear once we see the whole year figures, which I haven't seen yet.
It just demonstrates that there are so many moving parts to the tariffs, with cars built in different areas and car parts built in different parts of the world. Is it possible to say at this stage how damaging US tariffs have been for German cars?
Well, tariffs are always damaging because, I mean, as you say, the automotive supply chains are very fragile systems and are global systems, and once you start tinkering with one element of it, then of course the impacts are all over the place. So tariffs like that are always damaging, particularly very high tariffs. UK luxury cars attract a lower tariff of 10%, but again, looking at the statistics, there is no clear difference. That hasn't really benefited UK cars significantly compared to, say, their German competitors. So, as you say, it's a very complex picture, dealing with very complex supply chain, and just fiddling around with elements of it, it can damage it here and there. But the great strength of the Germans has been their US manufacturing facilities, which meant they could transfer to those.
What does the future hold? Because we know that there's huge competition from China with the electric vehicles. And there's been a lot of talk about the competition. But talk increasingly, I'm hearing, of collaboration. Are you seeing signs that that might be the way to navigate through this sea change in the auto industry?
Yes, well, I mean, collaboration in the industry is almost as old as the industry. It's been going on all the time. But I think what you pinpoint there is many European manufacturers have been caught out by the speed at which Chinese manufacturers have developed global quality electric vehicles. So they're now saying, well, if the strength in that technology is in China, we collaborate with the Chinese to boost our own strength. So European manufacturers, particularly German manufacturers, bring to that their experience in dealing with global markets, their manufacturing experience, dealing with legislation in different parts of the world, while the Chinese can bring their battery expertise, their software expertise, and all that sort of thing. So I think it's a very good area for collaboration.